So unless you've been hiding under a rock, we all been listening to the battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, where they was dropping diss track after diss track, hour after hour. Everybody was tuning in from all over the world to hear it. They both basically signed on the same label, and the label was making money all the way to the bank. Everybody was listening. And then Drake, he dropped something that was dope, but then Kendrick Lamar came with the Not Like Us, and that thing went worldwide. He just totally annihilated Drake with the Not Like Us. Everybody picked up on it. It's become as regarded as one of the greatest diss songs ever of all time in hip hop, and everybody's talking about it. So, for over the years, Drake's blackness has been being questioned. He was questioned a lot of, by a lot of different rappers. Even the brother from the Clips, questioning his blackness. They pulled up when he was in the movie Degrassi. They alluded to him living over in Canada and all these different things. But there's a pro-black, a Pan-African, that's calling him out now. And he's asking questions, and he's questioning his blackness. And that will be Dr. Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson wants to know. Now, he doesn't have the school. The school isn't up. And, he's online still talking about the black woman and all these different things. But he took time to come up off that high horse and ask Drake about his blackness. He wants to know if is Drake down with the black community. And he asked something like this.
And for my brother Drake, I need you to clarify whether or not you are a black man. Some people are claiming my brother Drake, who I love and respect. My brother Drake, who I love and respect. Some people is claiming that you embrace a mixed race identity, that you do not embrace a black first identity. So I have to ask my brother Drake to clear the record for me, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Maybe we can have a sit down when I come to Toronto, October 5th and 6th. But I need you to clarify that for me, brother Drake. Brother Drake, I need you to clarify. Are you a black first black man, or do you identify as mixed race, or do you identify as untouchable first? Do you primarily identify as an untouchable? Do you identify as mixed race, or are you a black first black man? I need to know this, my brother Drake. I want to take it to Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I was on an interview yesterday with some good brothers from Toronto, Canada. I was on a podcast interview yesterday morning with some good brothers from Toronto, Canada. Shout out to brother Alex and my other brother who came down from Canada to interview the Prince of Pan-Africanism yesterday before the Source of Knowledge book giveaway. And one of the concerns that they brought up to me as a Pan-Africanist, as the leading Pan-Africanist, as the Prince of Pan-Africanism, they said, Dr. Umar, and I'm paraphrasing, the good brothers brought it to my attention that Kendrick Lamar's song, They Not Like Us, was interpreted by many American Africans to mean that African Canadians are not African, that African Canadians are not African, that African Canadians are not African. Let me say this to the entire African diaspora. Let me say this to the American African and the Canadian African. Let me say this to the American African and the Canadian African. Let me say this to the American African and the Canadian African. We are one people. We are one family. We have one common ancestry. We have one common origin. We have one common source. We are the original people. My American Africans, don't you alienate yourself from Canadian Africans. Canadian Africans, don't you alienate yourself from the American African. We are one family. We are the North American Africans. I said, if you are a Mexican African, a North American African, or a Canadian African, we are collectively the North American Africans. United we stand, divided we fall. My Canadian brothers and sisters, they are my family. Toronto is my family. Montreal is my family. And if anybody tries to make jokes about the Canadian Africans, if anybody tries to say that my brothers and sisters north of the border are not members of the African family. If anybody tries to claim that the Canadian African is not a part, an integral part, an important part of the body of African people, then you are an enemy to Dr. Umar, and you are an enemy to African people, and you are an enemy of the Pan-African struggle. Now, I don't know if my brother Kendrick Lamar, who I love and respect, I don't know if my brother Kendrick Lamar, who I love and respect, I don't know if my brother Kendrick Lamar intended to alienate all African Canadians, all Canadian Africans. I did not think that was his intent. I did not think that that was Kendrick Lamar's intent. I did not think that that was Kendrick Lamar's intent. I believe Kendrick Lamar was simply going at Drake for the beef. I did not think that the song They Not Like Us was a shot at all African Canadians.
Now, again, I'm from the city of Philadelphia. Ironically, Dr. Umar Johnson's father is a friend of mine. He's a real community activist in the community, doing real work, doing real work. Unlike Umar, that gets online and just does a lot of talking and not a lot of production, just a lot of talking. That guy right there, the licensed guy on the end, that's Dr. Umar Johnson's father. He's a mentor to a lot of guys in the city of Philadelphia, well known and well respected. But Dr. Umar Johnson, you know, he likes to go and pontificate about Africa and us going back to Africa, but, you know, and talk about the black woman and black queen, but he's never produced a black wife in front of you as the example of how we should go and what we should do. He doesn't show an example of a black family. I used to be a big supporter of Umar Johnson, but I'm no longer a supporter of Umar Johnson because I think that he's a hypocrite. Do I think that he's very smart and brilliant? Absolutely. But I think that he's a hypocrite. And I'm no supporter of Drake either, at all. But I think Umar Johnson should be focused on the school. But let's look at the second half of his questioning of Drake's blackness.
And for my brother Drake, I need you to clarify whether or not you are a black man. Some people are claiming my brother Drake, who I love and respect. My brother Drake, who I love and respect. Some people is claiming that you embrace a mixed race identity, that you do not embrace a black first identity. So I have to ask my brother Drake to clear the record for me, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Maybe we can have a sit down when I come to Toronto, October 5th and 6th. But I need you to clarify that for me, brother Drake. Brother Drake, I need you to clarify. Are you a black first black man, or do you identify as mixed race, or do you identify as untouchable first? Do you primarily identify as an untouchable? Do you identify as mixed race, or are you a black first black man? I need to know this, my brother Drake. I need to know this, my brother Drake. You have to clarify this for me. Some people believe you only claim black when it's convenient. Some people believe you only claim to be black when it's convenient. I've never seen you do that, but I don't follow you that closely. I don't follow Kendrick that closely. I don't follow none of the modern era rappers that closely. Most of my favorite rappers are in the 80s and the 90s. So out of respect for my brother Drake, who I will consider to be an African, who I will consider to be my brother until he says otherwise. But my concern with my brother Drake, you've been at the forefront for a long time, and we should clearly know what you identify as. Are you black all the time, or are you black some of the time? Because if you are only black some of the time, I'm here to tell you you're not black any of the time. You got to pick a side and stay on it, my brother. You got to pick a side and stay on it. And I'm not accusing my brother Drake of anything. I'm not accusing my brother Drake of anything. I'm not accusing my brother Drake of anything. I'm simply asking my brother to clarify. Do you identify as black first? Or are you mixed race first? Or are you Jewish first? I just need clarity, my brother. I just need clarity. Now, my brothers and sisters, Columbia next Wednesday, Miami next Saturday, and then after we hit up Miami, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Where my Michigan Africans at? Where are my Michigan Africans? Look at my Michigan Africans. Just because he has a child with a non-African woman, which I don't support, doesn't mean he doesn't identify as black first, because many of you ninjas who don't have a white parent have babies with bunnies, and you claim to be black first. So let's not hold Drake to a double standard. Let's not hold Drake to a double standard.
I'll say this in closing. Do I think that Umar Johnson is a charlatan? I don't think that he's a charlatan, but I think that he's a pompous blowhard that just runs his mouth. He's very educated. Like I said, he's a very good speaker. He has all his degrees. He's educated, but he's not a good businessman. That school should have been open. My question would be, when you get the school open, Umar, how are you going to fund it? Where's the money going to come from? You can't even get the money to get the school open. So one, you don't want the money from the government to help fund it. So where are you going to get the money from? But you still have people donating to you. This is the crazy part. But you find the time to come online and figure out Drake's blackness. You're asking questions about Drake's blackness. I mean, you can't make this up. I just, I just can't respect it. He's supposed to be a professor. He's looking at this stuff that's going on in the hip hop, with all the pressing needs that the community has inside these schools and everything. Why are you talking about Drake? Who the hell cares about Drake and Kendrick Lamar, especially at your age? That's something for the young people. You're doing that to try to stay relevant, but the school isn't open. Your expertise is education in the schools. What the hell do you care about what Drake is talking about and what these other people's talking about? But again, man, this is the foolishness that goes on in the black community and why we don't have enough producers. We got churches on every corner. We got an 18th degree black belt in Bible and Quran. And we got, like I said, we got mosques and churches all through the black community. But we don't have a lot of production, a lot of producers at all. We got a lot of great orators, but not a lot of producers. So you guys should be leaving comments in this comment section asking about the school and asking them how you're going to fund it. Where's the money going to come from? Why are you talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar? But if you made it this far in the video, hit the like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.